On this week's show, Liberty Baseball's incredible season continues as they get the news all of Flames Nation was waiting for.
Plus, a few Flames head to Tracktown, USA, and we reflect on how Liberty football is making a difference in the lives of kids. This is Flame Central, and it starts now.
Liberty Baseball makes it interesting and leaves some of us on the edge of our seats. Yes. Welcome into our Flame Central studios. I'm Matt. She's Emily. And Emily, it was not a great start to the ASUN tournament for the Flames this past week.
No, it was not. Liberty dropping game 1 to Jacksonville with a final of 2-1. I was wondering if Liberty even packed their bats in this one, Matt.
Yeah, the bats would show up in game 2. They beat Kennesaw State 6-0. Then they took down North Florida, setting up a rematch with Jacksonville, this time in the championship final. Now, the Flames would need to beat the Dolphins twice to secure the title, but it would not be in the cards. After Liberty took a first-inning lead, Jacksonville answered with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the first. Then in the 7th, they would tack on 5 more. Liberty eventually falling by the final of 7-3, despite being heavy favorites in the tourney. They come up short of the title. So that loss meant that Liberty wouldn't be receiving the ASUN's automatic bid to the NCAA regionals. They would have to wait it out, watching the selection show, hoping to see their name, and to see the reaction. They would see their name on the board. They would head to the big dance where they'll play in the Knoxville Regional along with the home team Tennessee, Wright State, and Duke. This is considered to be one of the toughest regions in the tournament, so the Flames will be tested. Now, this marks the second straight year the Flames have made an NCAA regional. Remember, there wasn't a postseason last year. And it's also just the second time in program history that Liberty has earned an at-large bid. All in all, it'll be the 7th NCAA regional appearance for the Flames as this program continues to trend upwards under Scott Jackson.
Personally, I'm very happy the Flames were selected for an at-large bid. The main reason, head coach Scott Jackson was joining us on this week's Flame Central podcast, regardless of securing that regional spot. So it was a lot more enjoyable with the postseason continuing for LU baseball. Just another success story like many programs around here at Liberty.
I think the coolest thing it does for us is it gets you all that exposure. People continue to see Liberty in a calendar year. They see them in the fall for football. They see them in the winter, for basketball. They see them in the spring for baseball now, and not to mention the other sports here. So I think the thing that I really like about it is it's Liberty on your mind all year long, right, doing really good things. That's what, what we're trying to do here.
You can't get enough of the Flame Central podcast, neither can we. Tell your friends, tell your family. You can get caught up on all the episodes, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen. Matt Warner is probably talking. We dive deeper into Liberty athletics and have exclusive interviews with Flames coaches, student athletes. Download and subscribe to the Flame Central podcast today. Eugene, Oregon. It's one of the most special places in the world when it comes to track and field. The city is even referred to as Tracktown, USA. So qualifying for NCAA Nationals and having the chance to compete there is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What's even more exciting is that 3 Flames will get to experience just that. First qualifier for LU was ASUN shot put champion Kyle Mitchell. The junior secured the 6th spot with a 63-foot effort on his 3rd and final attempt. Liberty's Felix Candy punched his ticket to Eugene in the men's steeplechase. His time, 8 minutes, 40 seconds, broke the Liberty and the ASUN all-time men's steeplechase records by more than 2 seconds. On the women's side, Chelsea Egbarasi qualified in the women's discus. For her second time in her career, she threw a 174-foot 11-inch on her second of 3 attempts, finishing 12th. That marks the event's final national qualifying spot.
This year has been very different because of just the approach that I've taken to my spiritual walk with God, just relying more on Him for strength and resilience and everything, and it's just changed the game for me. I've had a lot more confidence. I felt calmer in the meets, and it's just been great.
It was really great to see all the hard work build up me and the coach had put in just to be able to get there again. I haven't been to Eugene. I see they have a new track and everything, so I'm really excited to go out there and, perform and do my best in the new stadium. I think it would be very exciting.
Since the beginning of the season, I've been training for this moment. that's what I'm excited for, to represent my team, my school, and each and everyone here at LU.
Well, they're some of the best to ever wear a Flames uniform, and now they'll be enshrined forever in the Liberty Athletics Hall of Fame. The 2021 class was announced last week, and it consists of 5 members. Kyrie Dorn-Adams played volleyball at LU in the late 90s, where she was a 3-time All-Conference selection and the Big South Player of the Year in 1998. She'll be joined by Pat Bussey, a Liberty wrestler who was a 2-time Division II All-American. Robert Carlson was a standout golfer who earned 4 All-Conference honors, as well as being named the Big South Golfer of the Year in both 2010 and 2011. James McKnight was a 2-sport standout in football and track. As a receiver, he hauled in just shy of 2,000 yards. As a member of the track team, he set 3 program records, including the indoor long jump, which still stands almost 30 years later. McKnight would also go on to play in the NFL for 11 seasons. And finally, the final inductee is Megan Frazee Lusinger, a dominant women's basketball player who earned 2 Big South Player of the Year awards before going on to play in the WNBA. All 5 will be inducted in September, and Lusinger weighed in on the honor.
During my time at Liberty, I really just had a lot of joys, some trials in there as well, but I feel like I was able to grow spiritually first and foremost, and then athletically and academically as well. I'm excited to see Liberty in the fall when I get to come on campus, and I'm so thankful for this award and just everyone that helped me to get to where I am today.
Congratulations to those former Flames. Hey, just because it's the off season for a majority of teams across campus doesn't mean they're off the hook from hanging out with us here at Flames Central. We started a new segment called Out of the Office to give you an inside look at what Liberty coaches are up to in the off season. First up, let's take a ride with field hockey head coach Nikki Parsley-Blocker.
Just allows me to completely unplug. You know, you can't simultaneously be thinking about all the plays you're gonna run while trying not to hit a tree. I got into mountain biking because of my husband. So 3 years ago, I started this little adventure we call mountain biking. Sharing mountain biking with him is incredible. Just to have something that connects you, I think is really, really special. I think it's something not every couple has. Get to not only enjoy hockey together, but then enjoy something that has absolutely nothing to do with field hockey. I'm not used to being bad at things, so I had to go through a lot of falls, a lot of hard times. Mountain biking has taught me patience. It's taught me to be more patient with my athletes.
There you go. Nice line.
Especially because when you're learning something for the first time, it really does translate onto the field, because as a coach, you coach the same things every single year, but it's just to different people, to new people. So I think that mountain biking kind of brought that back into perspective for me. That was a better one. I didn't land on my front tire.
Yeah, you looked really good. You sounded again.
Yeah,
really
it felt
clean.
good. Mountain biking allows me to still have a competitive aspect in my life. Unfortunately, in the US, there's not a lot of opportunities to continue playing hockey anymore at a super high level. It just really allows me to be super competitive, but competitive against myself more than anything else. Getting time away in athletics is huge. I don't think anyone's going to sustain themselves very long in this profession if you don't have things outside of the field where you literally don't have to think about anything else. You know, for some people that's hiking, for some people, if you're by the beach, it's surfing. For me, being in Virginia, it's mountain biking. I think being able to mountain bike literally right outside of the office is unbelievable. It's pretty cool that we have such great local trails. Even though mountain biking takes us around the country, just having that ability after work to literally just hop on the trail is outstanding. Sometimes it's really hard to unplug from work when you're in a high-performance environment, when you're trying to chase after a Big East or contend for a national championship, and it just allows you to go and do something that you love, that's physical, release endorphins, and yeah, it's awesome. Saved it. As an adult, it's really easy to stop stepping outside of your comfort zone and just get into your niche and do what you are comfortable with and what you're good at. And when I first started my mountain biking, I was terrible at mountain biking. So I really have learned to be more patient with myself and patient with others, you know, when I'm teaching them something new. And not to crash into a tree, you know.
Coming up next, we look at how Liberty Football is helping those in need through a program called Angel Armies.
Plus, Rhett joins us in studio for a special Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Don't go anywhere.
Liberty University is more than my sponsor. It's my school, too. Fuel your education at Liberty University.
Times are changing. At Liberty, we've made it our priority to grow, to learn, to improve. But even with all the change, our purpose remains. We want to equip people to go make a difference through their calling in their communities around the world. And though we are blessed with an amazing campus, our most valuable resource has always been the people, our students, and those who inspire them. It's the people who serve, maintain, support. It's you.
What's really important? Not the buildings, not the mountain, not the property, but the young people who use these buildings, who study in these facilities. They are important.
No matter what the future holds, we will stay focused on our goal. And the people of Liberty University are how we will continue to carry out our mission. They are the ones who empower us to
Training champions for Christ. Champions for Christ.
Training champions for Christ.
Welcome back to the show. In case you didn't hear the news, our Flames Central crew was nominated for 8 Emmys this year. In the religion category, this story shares how head coach Hugh Freeze and Liberty Football are doing their part in giving back and helping those in foster care through a program called Angel Armies.
So many people believe that the orphan crisis is this third world thing, and that is so far from the truth. So in the United States, in the richest country the world has ever known, we have an orphan crisis.
Now vertical, now get out higher, now, not that high. That's better, but not that high.
Liberty University head football coach Hugh Freeze knows how to put his players in a position to win on the field.
See, the pre-snap's dead, so it's now, what's the safety gonna do?
But he's also just as driven to prepare them for life off it.
One of the lessons that is great to teach football players as a team is that we are very blessed, we are very fortunate, and we should give back.
So Freeze will begin working on a game plan to show his players how to do just that. Its focus? Helping children who are part of the 400,000 kids in foster care in the U.S.
Jill and I have always been active in foster and orphan care. When we had our foundation, that's what it was geared to. I just think, being a imperfect follower of Christ, James 1:27, true and undefiled religion is taking care of the widows and orphans.
For this outreach, Freeze found a perfect teammate in Christian music artist Chris Tomlin. Tomlin and his wife Lauren co-founded Angel Armies, a nonprofit focused on alleviating the orphan crisis in America. Through the partnership of Liberty Football and Angel Armies, they would work to help meet critical needs of families across the country. After Freeze shared the plan with his staff, cornerbacks coach Ricky Hunley was all in. For Hunley, this opportunity was personal.
In my lifetime growing up, we've been that family. There's been times where we've needed help in a lot of different ways. I come from a strong family and two really good parents, but life happens as well. And so this is our opportunity to be able to help, maybe someone like us when we were growing up.
Thanks to a large donation from Coach Freeze, each of Liberty Football's position groups were given $10,000 and were asked to select a city to serve. Hunley and the other coaches would then meet weekly with their players to discuss giving opportunities and how they could do the most good.
We try to put ourselves in their shoes, really. Just really sit there and think about, what are they going through? What do they need?
And these young men are looking at real-time needs. This is not fake, phony, baloney stuff. On the other end of that need is a caseworker right there in a crisis with a family saying, if somebody doesn't help, we've got a problem. So they're seeing real-time needs, and then they're having conversations around those needs.
Joe Knittig heads up the Global Orphan Project based out of Kansas City, Missouri. The ministry created Care Portal, a technology platform connecting physical needs to people willing to help.
So when you think of Care Portal, our gift is to stay unseen.
This particular request will help serve 3 kids in a house.
We are behind the scenes. We execute care connections. That's why we exist.
Care Portal receives requests for help from child welfare workers all over the United States. These needs are then displayed to local churches and people who, like the Liberty Football program, then have the opportunity to help.
There'll always be a local church at the point of care, always. That is our calling, is to equip the local church to care for kids in crisis.
This is a struggling neighborhood. There's no jobs, lack of grocery stores. There's no school. That used to be a school. It's been closed over 10 years. It's the poor, it's the low income, it's the no income families that just need someone to say, let me come and understand. And we're able to go in and just become family.
Pastor Terry Glenn leads World Harvest Ministries in one of the poorest areas of Kansas City. He's seen firsthand the impact that these care connections can make.
So I called the mom and said, guess what? Your gas bill is about to get paid. And it is unbelievable how they feel loved. It's just the heart of Christ Jesus coming to the homes. And they're just wanting to know, how can a church do this? I said, the church is very large and it's much bigger than where we are in this building.
Good. That's it right there, right?
This past fall, the cornerbacks on Liberty's football team paid the gas bill for a single mom of 2 little girls in Kansas City. Markel, who braids hair in her home to help make ends meet, had found herself in a tough spot.
I had reached out because I had got a little behind on bills, with having 2 children, it can get hard. So when I got help with that bill, it gave me some extra room to get other things I needed to get done. So that kind of put me ahead of the game. So it made a big impact. It really helped me a lot. It was like weight lifted up, because when you like working hard, you can be working a steady job consistently and you still find yourself struggling. That was fun, wasn't it? It just gave me a little more motivation, because if I keep working hard and pushing, maybe I can be in a position to be able to help somebody.
But the story doesn't end there. By utilizing Care Portal and meeting a physical need for Markel, an opportunity was opened to meet a spiritual one as well.
Meeting that need, ministering to this mom, she's now one of our praise and worship leaders, received Jesus Christ as her Lord and Savior, and she's walking with the Lord. And we're so grateful So the kids just love us to pieces. They hit the door running so that they can hug us and love on us. And that's one of the joys as we become family. We really become family. It's not just words, it's action.
The way I look at life now, I look at life totally different. From becoming a worship leader, from receiving help when I was in desperate need to helping others, it just gives you a whole new outlook.
But the lasting impact of the partnership between Liberty Football and Angel Armies reaches well beyond the families helped. It has also made a difference inside the locker room of Liberty Football.
I know for a fact that it impacted them. Just the dialogue that you hear, because our guys come from all walks of life. Every guy does not have the same story, and so you could see that there were some stories that really resonated.
We got a lot of athletes, not even just from the football, but from other sports who've been in the same situation. So just being able to give back was awesome.
It brought us closer together, and I think, made our young men, as they witnessed them being a part of life change for a season in other people's lives, it was pretty special.
It just feels great when you help others. That's all we just want to do in this program. We just want to help others, be a light to others, really.
What started as a way for one college football team to give back has ended up helping over 650 children across the United States. But this is only the beginning.
Both Chris and Coach from day one said, we're going to pilot this, but this thing's going to spread like fire through college football and beyond. We did it once at Liberty, and I think you are going to see this take off where egos and logos get dropped at the door, and you're going to have young men in college football programs all over for maybe an hour a week getting behind closed doors and saying, we are going to rise up and be solutions for kids all around this nation, and we're going to do it together.
Thanks to our Jonah Jabor for producing that piece, what we hope is an award-winning piece. We'll find out that later this month. All right, time now for Warm, Hot, and Fuego, a special edition. This week, because there's not a whole lot of teams still in action, we're transitioning. This week, top male athletes. Next week, top female athletes. Following that, the top teams of the year. So top male athletes this week. Rhett joins us as always. Rhett, do we have a theme to go along with this?
We do. So like the three guys I'm about to talk on are make perfect sense why they're our top three athletes. But that got me thinking about things that don't make sense. And for example, summer starts on June 20th. That does not make sense to me because it feels like a little late. You start getting warm in mid-May sometimes. I feel like this should be the rule. If you have back-to-back days that are in the 90s, summer should start. It should just be a floating date. A floating date.
I'm with that.
Okay,
all right, so that doesn't make sense. All right. Who does make sense at Warm?
Trevor DeLate. What a season this guy had. News just breaking that the College Baseball Foundation named him one of 6 pitchers. Okay, only 6 pitchers in the entire nation for Pitcher of the Year.
That's incredible.
This goes with those studs out at Vandy that are probably going to be picks.
Rocker, Leiter, first-round draft picks.
DeLate, right in that mix now. What a season he had. What I love about this guy, you can look up the stats for yourself, but just his demeanor on the mound. Like, he is all business. He goes out there. No, he does not have nasty high velocity, but he picks his spots so well. It reminds me kind of Pat Hankton. You remember Pat Hankton?
I mean, a little bit,
play for the Jays. He's an older guy, but he had that same just kind of cool, calm, collected, goes out there, throws strikes, not going to blow anything by anybody, but he's just so good with the spots. He is successful.
One of the best in the nation. Best in the A-Sun, and maybe one of the top, always, as we see, top 6 in the nation at least. All right, from Warm, we go to Hot. What doesn't make sense, and then who's your athlete?
All right, does not make sense. Field hockey not making the NCAA tournament.
Liberty I didn't see that coming from out of nowhere.
I just thought I'd throw in a wrench in here. Does not make sense to me. People at home understand that as well.
We're still upset.
What does make sense, Darius McGee, he is hot. This guy, MVP of the A-Sun that year, clutch moments. Another guy who's calm, cool, and collected. That's like a theme at Liberty with our top athletes. Just chill. He's not going to get overly too hyped up. This is probably his most hyped moment on the year against Bellarmine, where he gave it just that holler because he knew things were going down. But his ability just to strike from deep, he can drive. I think he's at his best when he's driving the lane. When he changes it up a little bit, we saw the clutch factor in him when he can hit a shot late with the buzzer winding down. So Darius McGee is hot.
All right, we continue now with our top male athletes of the year. In Fuego, what doesn't make sense and who does as the best athlete?
The Penrose steps. You know, that's those. It looks like the staircase that goes in a loop, left, left, left. Look it up, Penrose steps. What does make sense? Malik Willis. This guy. Now, this is hard to fathom, but if we think about it, listen to me here, friends.
I'm trying.
This is going to be great. Malik, if he has a good year, successful season, much like last year, and competes well against Ole Miss, you're probably looking at Malik being a top 3 pick in the draft. Like, honest truth, that is possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it is a possibility. Just his ability with his legs and his arm, if he can just improve a little bit, but also just have a good year and show out well against ACC teams and the SEC team, that is going to speak volumes for him. And I think you're going to see this guy easily be a first-round pick, and there's that chance, like I said, because right now everybody loves Lamar Jackson and those guys that can run. Malik can do that.
There you go.
He could be a top 3
You
pick.
heard it here first. Not really. People have been saying it for a while, but thank you, Red. All right, next week, top 3 female athletes, so join us for that. All right, coming up, top 5 plays of the month of May. You won't want to miss those, that and much more when Flame Central returns. Welcome back to Flame Central. The Super Spring is winding down, but Liberty still has teams competing, and we all know postseason play brings plenty of pressure.
Wow, say that 5 times fast,
I'm
Matt.
a
It
professional.
also brings some pretty sweet highlights, which you'll see firsthand in our top plays of May. To the A-Sun softball tournament we go, and how about this unconventional double play? Off the glove of Carly Keeney, snagged by Amber Bishop-Riley, who then throws it to her sister at first base to double up the runner. Not a play you see every day, but the Lady Flames make it look easy.
They sure do. Play number 4 now, Liberty Baseball taking on Kennesaw State. And Brady Kulikowski taking it deep off the top of the Flame train. All aboard. This traveled an estimated 439 feet, and as far as we know, the first ball to ever hit the Flame train, a massive, prodigious shot that would help the Flames secure the win over the Owls.
Sometimes you just throw up your glove and, hope something good happens, and that's exactly what Dylan Cumming did. Cat-like reflexes from the Flames pitcher as he knocks down the comebacker and then makes the flip to first base. Oh, well, actually, this is nothing. He makes that play 100 times.
Cool, calm, collected. All right, back to softball we go. Lady Flames to the NCAA Regional Final against JMU. Check out the play from Autumn Bishop. Oh, yeah, there she goes a long way to get that one. Lays out for the grab in foul territory. One of the best defensive plays in her impressive career, and it came in what turned out to be her final game in a Liberty uniform.
I mean, who makes this countdown? Because Jake Wilson should have a top 5 plays all to himself. But this was our favorite from this past month. In the A-Sun tourney against Jacksonville, Wilson goes full speed into the wall and still manages to hang on to the baseball. He has to be the best right fielder in the nation right now, and that catch is just another example of why, Matt, I'm sure you're going to miss making those calls of him in the right field.
It's been a fun season for baseball, no doubt. All right, we're about out of time. As always, go to libertyflamecentral.com to check out all of our stories. And don't forget to check out the podcast, the Flame Central podcast. You're going to love it. She's Emily. I'm Matt. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here next week.